These weren't just cars. They were the posters you hung in your bedroom at 14. The reason you saved every car and driver magazine. The machines that made you believe speed and beauty could be yours if you just worked hard enough and waited long enough. But here's what nobody told you back then, and what the sellers sure as hell won't tell you now. Half these legends are financial traps wrapped in fiberglass and false promises. And number one on this list, there's a decent chance it's the exact car you've been saving for, and you're about to find out why that was a mistake. Number 15. Pontiac Fiero GT, 1984 to 1988. When the Fiero hit showrooms in 1984, it represented everything American buyers wanted to believe about Detroit's future. A real mid-engine sports car, European proportions, wedge styling that looked fast standing still, and a price tag that didn't require a second mortgage. Pontiac dealers couldn't keep them on the lot. Then reality showed up in the form of engine fires. The base Iron Duke 4-cylinder had an oil consumption problem GM was slow to acknowledge. When those engines ran low on oil, which they did often, they overheated. And when they overheated in a car with plastic body panels, they caught fire, often enough that it made the news and destroyed Pontiac's credibility. The V6 that arrived later fixed the fire problem, but introduced cooling system failures, head gasket leaks, and electrical gremlins. The suspension was lifted from the Chevette, which is a sentence that should never appear in a sports car review. Today, Fieros trade for $6,000 to $15,000. Everyone you look at has been through at least 2 owners who learned expensive lessons. You're being offered the chance to be the third. Walk away. Number 14. Chrysler Crossfire, 2004 to 2008. The Crossfire showed up during Chrysler's marriage to Daimler with Mercedes-Benz SLK underpinnings and dramatic styling that turned heads at every stoplight. The SRT6 supercharged version delivered 330 horsepower and real performance. Here's what the brochure didn't mention. When something breaks, you're paying Mercedes-Benz parts prices on a car that now trades for $8,000 to $16,000. The electrical system is Mercedes. The transmission is Mercedes. None of those components got the memo about your car's depreciation. The supercharger develops leaks that cost $2,000 to fix. The transmission control module fails with a $1,500 repair bill. The convertible top mechanism jams and requires dealer-level diagnostics. Crossfire's depreciated like stones. A car that's stickered for $35,000 to $50,000 is now worth less than a used Camry. The people who bought these new got out before the expensive stuff started breaking. You're being offered the chance to be the third owner. That's not an opportunity. That's a warning. Number 13. Mazda RX-8 2003 to 2011. The RX-8 represented Mazda's commitment to the rotary engine when every other manufacturer had moved on. The 1.3-liter Renesis rotary made 232 horsepower, revved to 9,000 revolutions per minute, and delivered one of the purest driving experiences available. For the first 30,000 miles, owners loved it. Then the apex seals started failing. When they wear out, the engine starts burning oil at rates that would embarrass a 1970s British motorcycle, a quart every 500 miles. At 60,000 to 80,000 miles, most RX-8s need a complete engine rebuild, costing $4,000 to $6,000. The car at that mileage is worth maybe $5,000 to $8,000. Mazda knew about the problem, extended warranties for some owners, but never issued a recall. Fuel economy was terrible. 16 city, 22 highway, worse than V8 muscle cars. And you had to check the oil every single fill-up. Today, RX-8s are cheap. $4,000 to $10,000 all day long. Every single one is either approaching an engine rebuild or has already had one. You're not buying a sports car. You're buying someone else's repair bill at a discount. Number 12. Nissan 350Z and 370Z 2003 to 2020. The Z cars aren't unreliable. The VQV6 engines are bulletproof. What makes these worthless is the owner base that's run them into the ground. Walk into any used car lot, and you're looking at cars that have been drifted, launched, and beaten on by owners who saw Fast and Furious one too many times. The clutches are cooked. The suspension has been swapped for cheap coilovers installed by someone who learned from YouTube. The interiors are disasters. Nissan used the cheapest plastics available. The synthetic leather splits and peels. The dashboard develops cracks you could lose your keys in. Finding a bone stock, adult-owned Z car with maintenance records is like finding an honest politician. A 3.5 OZ that cost $35,000 new in 2006 is now worth $8,000 to $15,000. That depreciation isn't market forces. It's the market telling you these cars have been used up by an owner base that didn't care about longevity. Number 11. Audi TT 1.8T 1999 to 2006. The first-generation TT was a design icon. Then the high-speed stability incidents started getting reported. Audi issued a recall, added a rear spoiler, and solved it. But the bigger problem is the 1.8-liter turbocharged engine. The ignition coils fail regularly. The water pump is driven by the timing belt, and when it fails, it destroys the engine. That repair costs $2,000 to $3,000. The turbocharger develops leaks. The diverter valve sticks. The instrument cluster develops pixel fade. The climate control fails. The leather cracks. These trade for $6,000 to $14,000 today. That sounds like a bargain until you factor in German maintenance costs on a 20-year-old platform. Every repair requires Audi-specific tools and Audi parts pricing. You're looking at $1,500 to $2,000 per year in maintenance on a good year. On a bad year, you're into it for $4,000 or more. Before we get to number 10, if this video is saving you from making an expensive mistake, hit that like button right now. Drop a comment below telling me which of these sports cars you almost bought. Subscribe and ring that notification bell. Alright, let's keep going. Number 10. Chevrolet Corvette C4 1984 to 1996. The early C4s from 1984 to 1988 represent some of the darkest years in Corvette history. The 1984 launch was rushed. Paint problems were rampant. The digital instrument cluster fails regularly and costs $800 to $1,500 to replace. The L98 engine made 230 horsepower, barely more than a modern V6 Camry. The Doug Nash 4+3 manual transmission was a disaster. It shifted like a truck transmission, broke often, and replacement parts are expensive and hard to find. The interior plastics crack. The leather wears through. The pop-up headlights develop motor failures costing $600 per side. These trade for $6,000 to $15,000. You're buying a 40-year-old car with 40-year-old electronics, all failing simultaneously. The later C4s from 1992 to 1996 are significantly better. If you're shopping C4s, focus on those years and avoid the early examples. Number 9. Porsche Boxster 986, 1996 to 2004. The Boxster was Porsche's affordable entry-level sports car. For the first 50,000 miles, owners had no complaints. Then, the IMS bearing started failing. When it fails, metal shavings destroy the engine, turning a running car into a $15,000 paperweight. The repair, done preventatively, costs $2,000 to $3,000. Done after failure, you're looking at a $12,000 to $18,000 rebuild. A used 986 Boxster trades for $8,000 to $18,000. Every single one is either a ticking time bomb or has had the bearing addressed by a previous owner trying to recoup their investment. Beyond the IMS bearing, the plastic rear window yellows and requires a $1,200 replacement. Oil changes are $200. Brake jobs run $1,500. Clutch replacements hit $2,500. The Boxster is genuinely excellent when everything works. But ownership is a financial commitment that extends far beyond the purchase price. Number 8. BMW Z4 2003 to 2008. The Z4 delivered balanced handling and genuine driving enjoyment. The problem is that everything is expensive and everything eventually breaks. The cooling system is a maintenance item costing $1,500 to $2,000. The convertible top mechanism fails with a $2,000 to $3,000 repair bill. The suspension bushings wear out, requiring $1,200 to $1,800 in repairs. The electronics fail constantly. Each repair costs $500 to $800, and they all happen around the same mileage. Z4S trade for $8,000 to $18,000 today. That low price is why they're worthless. The market knows these cars cost $3,000 to $5,000 per year to maintain. You're not buying a sports car. You're buying a subscription to German parts pricing that never expires. Number 7. Mercedes-Benz SLK 2004 to 2011. The SLK's retractable hardtop was impressive technology until one component fails and the top gets stuck halfway. That repair costs $3,000 to $5,000. The Airmatic suspension fails at $2,000 per corner. The ABC active body control system repairs can exceed $8,000. The supercharged engines in the SLK 55 AMG are problematic with expensive fluid services. These trade for $10,000 to $25,000. Factor in $200 oil changes, $2,000 brake jobs, and the constant threat of a $5,000 top mechanism failure. The previous owner sold it because they couldn't afford the repairs. The dealer knows what's coming. The only person who doesn't know is you. Number 6. Jaguar XK8 1996 to 2006. The XK8 was beautiful and refined until the Nikasil engine block problems surfaced. Early XK8s used cylinder linings that deteriorated with high sulfur fuel. The result was complete engine failure, requiring an $8,000 to $12,000 replacement. The timing chain tensioners fail, causing catastrophic damage if not replaced preventatively at $2,000 to $3,000. The transmission fails, requiring a $4,000 rebuild. The air suspension sags. The electronics fail in ways that require dealer diagnostics and parts Jaguar no longer stocks. XK8S trade for $8,000 to $20,000 today. What looks like British elegance is someone else's repair nightmare being passed along. Unless you have a Jaguar specialist and a maintenance budget that exceeds your car payment, walk away. Number 5. Lotus Elise 2004 to 2011. The Elise is one of the purest sports cars ever built. On a back road, it's transcendent. In everyday ownership, it's torture. The seats are impossibly uncomfortable. The ride quality is punishing. Getting in and out requires flexibility most people over 30 don't possess. Parts availability is a nightmare. Body panels are expensive fiberglass. The soft top leaks and costs $2,000 to replace. Simple repairs require multi-hour labor charges. These trade for $25,000 to $45,000. Everyone has been tracked or driven hard. The Elise is magnificent to drive. It's miserable to own. Unless you have another car for daily duties, you're buying the wrong car. Number 4. Dodge Viper 1992 to 2002. The original Viper was raw, brutal, and completely uncompromising. No traction control, no ABS, no driver aids. The problem is that the Viper attracts overconfident amateurs who think horsepower equals capability. The accident rate was horrific. Insurance companies wouldn't cover them. Early Vipers now trade for $35,000 to $65,000. Parts are expensive. The engine requires valve adjustments every 12,000 miles at $800. The transmission needs clutch replacements at $2,500. Finding insurance under $5,000 per year is a challenge. The Viper is magnificent if you have the skill to drive it and the budget to maintain it. If you don't have both, you're buying a car that will hurt you physically or financially. Number 3. Alfa Romeo 4C 2014 to 2020. The 4C promised Italian design and driving purity. Then buyers tried to live with them. No power steering, no radio in base models, no sound insulation. Road noise is deafening at 70 miles per hour. The DCT transmission is jerky. The engine develops cooling problems. Depreciation has been catastrophic. Cars that sold for $65,000 to $75,000 are now worth $35,000 to $50,000 after just 5 years. Parts are expensive. Service requires alpha specialists who are rare. The 4C is special on a closed road. On the street, it's an expensive mistake that looks beautiful while disappointing you. Number 2. Mercedes-Benz SL 2003 to 2012. The R230 SL should have been Mercedes' flagship. When everything works, it's impressive. The problem is, everything eventually stops working. The ABC suspension costs $8,000 to $12,000 to repair. The retractable hardtop mechanism fails, leaving you with a $5,000 repair bill. Every electronic module can fail independently. Each repair costs $500 to $1,000, and they cascade once the car hits 80,000 miles. These trade for $15,000 to $35,000 today. What looks like German luxury at half price is a maintenance budget costing $5,000 to $8,000 per year. The previous owner sold it because they saw what was coming. Number 1. Ferrari 348, 1989 to 1995. We've reached number 1. The 348 was Ferrari's entry-level model designed to offer Ferrari ownership at an attainable price. The styling was classic Pininfarina. The V8 sounded like perfection. The ownership reality is brutal. The timing belt must be replaced every 3 to 5 years at $6,000 to $8,000. The service requires removing the entire engine. The clutch requires the same engine-out service, costing another $5,000 to $7,000. Factor in both services, and you're looking at $13,000 to $15,000 in scheduled maintenance before fixing anything actually broken. The electrical system fails constantly. Parts are absurdly expensive and must be ordered from Italy. A headlight assembly costs $2,000. Brake pads and rotors will cost $3,000 for all 4 corners. The 348 never had the performance to justify its maintenance costs. It was slower than Corvettes and handled worse than Porsches. Today, 348s trade for $50,000 to $75,000. First-year ownership, $8,000 in belt service. Second year, $3,000 in maintenance. Third year, $7,000 in clutch replacement. Fourth year, $4,000 in electrical repairs. 5 years costs $30,000 in maintenance alone on a car you paid $60,000 to purchase. That's $90,000 total investment for a car now worth $55,000. The math doesn't work. The 348 is the poster child for why passion doesn't pay the bills. Unless you have $10,000 per year set aside exclusively for Ferrari maintenance, don't buy one. There you have it, folks. 15 sports cars that prove legends aren't always worth living with. From Pontiac Fiers to Italian money pits, each one looks like a dream until reality sends you the bill. The purchase price is never the real cost. The real cost is what you'll spend keeping it running. And on every car on this list, that number is higher than the seller will ever admit. Do your homework before you fall in love. Because love doesn't fix broken timing chains, seized transmissions, or failed German electronics. Money does. And these cars will take every dollar you've got. If this video saved you from making an expensive mistake, hit that subscribe button and check out the next video on your screen right now. We'll see you there.